Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Hi everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. It's coming home. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you made every time I put new content on. As always, we'd love to thank our lovely channel sponsors there at the end of the pin. Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. So we've had lots of people ask us, because we did a few of these sort of just before the end of the season, and so we're bringing them back as we look forward to the new season. God, new season. Mental, obviously, after we've won the European Championship, of course. But you know, new pre-season has started. You've seen the West Ham boys are running around Scotland at the moment. We can't see them because it's really misty. But obviously, we'll have full capacity back. So I'll talk to our guest about that in a minute. So obviously, we've got an Everton fan, but not just any Everton fan. We've got Mike, but not just any Mike. We've got Mike from Blue Boyz Network. Let me bring him in. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. We're here.
How are you, boss?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. You excited about Boris's announcement?
It's about time, it's about time. 18 months I've not stepped foot in Goodison Park.
Really? Wow.
My last game was a gutting 1-1 draw with Manchester United where the ball hit. Well, it didn't hit Sigurdsson and it was called offsides, and it's mad to think that was 18 months ago. You know, my little boy who fell in love with football when we scored the opener and we thought, my God, we're going to beat Man United at home again. So it's sort of, he needs to go back and experience a win because it killed him at the end of that. It really did.
It's bad, isn't it? It is bad. It was like the other day, obviously, because I've been still going during lockdown, and so they sort of made it into a car park. So I got a car park space, so very la-di-da. And obviously the last time I got the train was when we had that week where everyone could go, where 2,500 could go. So I went to that was in December, I think it was December last year, or yeah, it was last year, something like that. And then then after that, the last time I went on the train was the last game of the season. So that was about 5 month gap in between. So it's mental, but I'm so happy with it. It's sort of like it's been confirmed. I mean, we thought it would happen, but at least it's been confirmed. So yeah. You know, all systems go. Pre-season kicking off.
Yeah, same for Everton today. All the boys were there. Rafa Benitez, obviously new manager, coming in. James Rodriguez coming back to training. I didn't expect that. I thought he'd be off from Everton's perspective. And obviously from your perspective, from a West Ham perspective, really exciting season ahead, really. You know, European football.
Yeah.
I think there's been a promise of investment by your owners, if I'm not mistaken. David Moyes, who has done a very good job, and as I was speaking to Corey a few weeks ago on one of the other West Ham channels, it's all very positive at West Ham. Very positive.
It is, and it is for a change. If that makes sense. We've had a lot, you know, this, and it's a cycle thing at West Ham. Every 5th year we have a good season. So the last season after this was the last season at the Bowling. Before then, it would have been the season we got to. Oh, maybe even more than that. We had 10 years, because I was thinking, the season we went to the FA Cup final. Before then was 99 when we won the Intertoto Cup. So it's almost like as you said, it's things are looking more positively. But same with you guys. It was all not looking rosy, but beginning end of the season, you were looking right. Okay, here we go. Ancelotti, nice summer. What? It's like it was totally out of the blue, weren't it? Really, everything just went fuck, shit.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, it was mad, because if you think about it, from an Everton fan perspective, we didn't have a great season last season.
No, started off great, didn't you?
Yeah, a lot of people probably would have been, sort of looking at Everton and going, well, they did okay. They probably did as expected. 10th, maybe in and around 8th, 9th. That's probably where people expected Everton to be. But from an Everton fan perspective, we were really disappointed. You go out and sign James Rodriguez, Alan, Decore, you feel that you've got some good firepower in Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, and defensively, Pickford's had his issues, but over the last 6 months he's been fantastic.
Yeah.
But before then he was bang average, if not poor. And then on top of that, conceding silly goals, the style of play changed. We went from being really aggressive at the start of the season, blowing teams away, to losing games 1-0, 2-0 at home. We lost to you guys, we lost to Leeds, we lost to, these teams are in and around us at the time. That at Goodison Park, ordinarily, I'm not saying you'd expect to win, but you'd expect Everton to at least give them a better game being a home team. And we didn't do it. And it's results like that really cost Everton at the end. The home form for Everton Football Club to only win 5 games at home is a disgrace.
Yeah. It is,
Really is. There you go.
I think it's one of those things, man. I think it's one of those things that, and I know there's been a lot said of, having the season, no fans and stuff like that. And I think, to be honest, no disrespect, but places like Goodison Park, the more traditional grounds, which are the 12, as you said, that 12th man, I've turned up to your gaff and sat in those wooden seats and got completely trounced, and you fear going to there, to be honest. But similarly, you look who went down this year, all tight, small grounds, Sheffield United. I mean, the downturn in form for them, as soon as restart happened, like season 4 last, their form just went completely through the ground. Fulham, West Brom, these sort of teams, even Burnley, tighter grounds, it did make a difference. I really think he did in some respects. In other ways it wouldn't. I mean, for us, the beginning of the season was quite toxic, so with no fans in the stadium, I think it actually helped us it gave Moyes time to sort of get into the season a little bit. But there were times where if we had fans, we wouldn't, I look at we was 3-0 up against Arsenal. We drew 3-3. We would have won that game easily. And there's certain games like that where it's. But I think definitely he said Goodison Park was always a hell. I used to hate going to Goodison Park because it was so intimidating, the atmosphere. So look, it's all started again. In Rafa, you trust now. So it's what it is now, isn't it?
Some of us do. I mean, I've never seen an Everton fan base so disillusioned about the future. No,
but we were like that. I think there's a lot of people at West Ham when Moyes came back into the field. It's like, again. But a lot of people have had humble pie, and I'd hope that it's the same with a lot of the anti Benitez crowd review guys as well. We've several times this season we've had to eat humble pie. I'm thinking Craig Dawson. Who the fuck's Craig Dawson? You couldn't get into the Watford team. Watford fans were laughing that we took their worst player. When we paid £5 million for some Czech right back from Slavia Prague, who the fuck's this guy? Jesse Lingard. There's loads of times where I thought, he's done a wrong in here, but look, in it, he's done what he's done, and no, I feel a bit excited. It'd be interesting to see what happens now, because obviously, Richarlison now, with a new manager comes in. Has he got his own ideas? Who's he going to bring in and stuff like that? But hey, you've got him, so we won't get him. That's good. He turned us down. He turned us down for this. What they call Real Madrid. Don't know who they are, but he turned us down for them, unbelievably. Then we got Slaven Bilic. So, oh well. That worked out well. And obviously, are you like me? Because obviously Pickford in England and Euros and, it's coming home, all that stuff. And this will go out obviously before the semi-final and stuff. Are you the same as me? Because obviously Declan Rice is so integral, and the same as Pickford is so integral. Do you feel extra anxiety when he plays? So, if Pickford, I remember Robert Green fucking up in the 2010, against USA, and he was a West Ham player, and I felt personally responsible. Do you know what I mean? Like the other day when Pickford went for that head gone volley outside the box. As an Everton fan, I thought, oh no, fuck off. Or if Declan Rice is a back pass or misplaces a pass or does something, I feel responsible. It's really weird. It's really bizarre.
It's mad, really, because me included. In December, I wanted Jordan Pickford out of Everton Football Club.
Yeah.
I was done with him. I was finished. The clangers he'd made, some of the errors of judgment he'd made. And all of a sudden, he started to just... He's got his head together. He saw a psychiatrist. He spent some time with a sports analyst who sort of said, look, you need to sort this out. You need to get this right. He's had a little one. He sort of... He appears to me like he's matured, and I think for England, he's always been fairly mature. Don't get me wrong, he still has his moments, but he's always been fairly steady for England, which is why he's always been England's number one. Which even if you'd have said to me in January, I wouldn't have said Jordan Pickford's England's best goalkeeper. I would have probably said it was Nick Pope or Henderson, or I'd even have gone as far as St. Johnston. But when I look at Pickford now, I do think he's head and shoulders above them, and then that might be being an Everton fan. It might be.
But I think you're right. I think you're right, man. I think you're right.
But I think now, I think he's proving it, and he proved it for club as well at the end of the season. And I just don't want it. I don't want him to wreck it, because I sort of worry that once he's made one mistake, they might come flooding back. And I really hope he doesn't. I want him to go through this tournament keeping clean sheet. There is absolutely no reason England couldn't keep a clean sheet against Denmark. And if Italy beats Spain, I think we can keep another clean sheet, because I think Spain's a different ball game. They're very aggressive, quick passing, lots of passes. They've made over 4,000 passes in the competition. Very aggressive team, lots of possession. I think they'd score against England. But Italy, I think they'd struggle. And this is where I sort of sit there and think, if England win this tournament by winning 1-2, 3, 4-0 the other night, then happy days. I'll take that. And for Jordan Pickford and Declan Rice, who, in my opinion, have both been absolutely integral to how well this England team has been, it's good to see. You don't want them to mess up, do you? Because you want them to carry on. But I do have this slight worry that maybe a club will come in and go, oh, we like Pickford, and off you go. And
that's the trouble, isn't it? That's the flip side, isn't it? The flip side is you want your players to do well, but Deck's in the shop window, and so's Pickford, and so's Calvin. I mean, what I love about this England team is it's not monopolised by the greedy six. Do you know what I mean? Now it's like you said, Pickford, Declan Rice. You've got Phillips as well. Those sort of three have been sort of the almost first three on the team sheet rather. And even like Saka. I mean Saka. Saka wasn't necessarily Arsenal were they for 9th this season, something like that. And they still came in, and Sancho and Bellingham. It's not just Man U and Liverpool players anymore, which I love, because I just think it's so important. I mean, look how Real Madrid is. No Real Madrid players on the Spanish side. That's a huge thing. And so, the Italian squad are the same, isn't it? I think they're saying like 12 different clubs in the Italian. That's how it should be, though. It means that all the best players are distributed amongst the league, and you have a stronger league. So that's why people shouldn't buy Declan Rice.
That now. I think you see that in the Premier League. I would say 5-6 years ago, 10 years ago, you would see a consistent top six. And although you do see a consistent top six now, I don't feel like the gap is as big between, say, 10th to 7th as 6th to, say, 4th, and 4th to 2nd. And I do think Manchester City are head and shoulders the best team in this country. I really do. But I don't necessarily think the gap between everyone else is that big. Although I think Manchester United could potentially close the gap.
I think they could. I think it's a bit like when Leicester won the league, and then all the big boys started spending a bit of money. Like shit, we've dropped the ball a little bit, and I think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be a season out. I think all the effects of COVID, are going to still affect the bottom line for a lot of teams, and we probably are seeing that now, and maybe even in January as well. But I think the next summer you'll see some big purchases. I mean, who if you had a checkbook today, for Everton, who would you get in? What areas do you think you guys need to improve next season?
I was just about to ask you the same question, actually, so I'm glad you've asked that. But For Everton, we need a right back. I think
Yeah.
that's abundantly obvious now. Seamus Coleman has been a fantastic servant to Everton Football Club, but he's certainly not the player he was 5 years ago. We've got John Joe Kenny, who is the number 2, who isn't good enough. Ben Godfrey's played at right back, but being honest, we'd prefer him to play at centre back because still to this day, although he probably wouldn't have played, I would have put Ben Godfrey in front of Connor Cody in the England team, for example, just my personal opinion. So definitely a right back. I think we definitely need a ball carrying midfielder because I don't think Allen and Decore do that. James is more of a distribution player rather than a ball carrier.
Yeah.
And we need one, if not 2 wingers, because we've got Bernard and Iwobi as our wingers, and they're just not good enough. If Everton have got these ambitions, which every time I hear our chairman say we've got ambitions to be top of the league, we've spent £530 million in 5 years. I mean, we must be at times the laughing stock of the Premier League because every transfer window, people say, oh, Everton have won this. You know, they've got Allen, Decore, Godfrey, Rodriguez. They've had a great window, fantastic. And we finished 10th. And it's not good enough. So somewhere down the line, something has to go right because it's getting to the point now where it's shit or bust. We've spent so much money, it's shit or bust. And, you know, we spent £50 million on players like Sigurdsson, 30 million on players like Balassi, 28 million on players like Klassen. It's not been good enough. So recruitment for Everton, I think we need 5 players. I think we need 2 wingers, a ball carrying midfielder, a right back, and potentially a striker. And if my arm was twisted behind my back, I'd go and get a goalkeeper on a free transfer just to be number 2 to Pickford.
Nice. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, well, again, it's like it's one of those things where it's sort of getting. Is it that isn't getting the horse before the cart, or whatever, you know? Because now we're in a situation now where this season, you know, we potentially we've definitely got an extra 5 games. We get a bye, don't we, in the third round of the Carabao. So we've got an extra 5 games really this season. I don't think we're going to get in the group stage, but who knows? Who knows? You know what I mean? It's a European tour. Where are you? Lads on tour.
Who have you got in your draw for Europe?
We haven't. No, August the 27th. But because our coefficiency is so shit, we'll be playing. We're not seeded, so I think we're in the 3rd pool. So we'll have a Marseille or whoever drops out of the Champions League qualifiers. So we'll have some good teams. We'll have, you know, it's either going to be probably the Payet derby where we play Marseille, or the Real Betis derby where we play Pellegrini. So you know, someone like that, a couple of big boys. So we don't know. You don't know West Ham. But I think for us, I've always said it all season, we're a striker away from being a dangerous team. You know, we haven't had a striker who fits the Moyes way. You know,
I can tell you that from an Everton fan's perspective.
Yeah.
Moyes, I said this to Corey again.
Yes, you did, yeah.
Moyes has got this tendency to build a fantastic team that will play for you, work hard, you know, really play for the shirt, but he destroys strikers. I mean, to put it in perspective, Everton managed to sign James Beattie, who had just scored 21 goals for Southampton. He scored 8 the season after. Andy Johnson, 22 goals for Crystal Palace. He scored 9 the season after. Yakubu was the only striker of any note that Everton actually signed, and he scored 20-odd goals in one season. But then after that, he fell apart. Moyes has got a real tendency not to know how to play a striker. So
he tends to just buy it. I mean, you know, obviously he converted Antonio, he converted Arnautovic. You know, a lot of the ones we were sort of looking for more, I'd say, right-sided forwards. So you know, I think for us, we need this person up front. You know, some sort of Antonio-shaped striker we need, because I think we hit the post 23 times last season. So if 10 of them had gone in, then we'd be in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
he's got this tendency, and Moyes has got this tendency to be able to do that, because even at Everton, you know, he converted Manuel Fellaini into a striker. He converted Tim Cahill at times into a striker for Everton. So he does have this tendency to sort of, I don't know whether he does this at West Ham, but what he tends to do is he does have a striker on the pitch, but that striker ends up coming really deep and sort of coming into midfield and being an extra player in that line of defence. But as a result of that, when they rotate and they attack quite quickly. I did see that with Jesse Lingard, with you guys.
It does, and obviously he gets Antonio to run down the channels, so you know, which is great when he's fit. So you know, that's. I mean, I've always seen Antonio more as a right-sided player. I think he'd terrorise. You know, fullbacks are smaller than centre backs. That's why I think he'd absolutely destroy someone. So that's what we want. We want a striker, somebody who's going to get us. You know, I'll take Danny Ings. You know, he's turned a 4-year contract down. I'll take him. I'll take Danny Ings.
I think
we can guarantee him European football, though, Mike. That's the thing, isn't it?
But this is the thing. West Ham would be a good fit for Danny Ings. To be honest, West Ham would be the perfect fit because they're now in Europe, so we can, you know, you can sort of tick that up. And even if I don't want to sound like disrespectful to West Ham because I like West Ham.
That doesn't matter, Mike. Come on, we're team friends.
Finish in Europe next season.
Yeah, which could happen.
Danny Ings is the sort of player that he'll have the spotlight still on him, if you get what I mean. He will stand out a little bit as that creative goal scoring player, and he'll help West Ham because he'll have the people around him who can feed in the ball. The one thing about West Ham. And on paper, they're actually incredibly creative. You know, Funals, Yarmolenko don't even play that look like they play, but they don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And a lot of Premier League teams would die for players who were that creative on paper. And that's without talking about your ball carrying midfielders, the players who can break down, play behind, and distribute the ball quickly. Danny Ings would be a perfect fit for West Ham. He really would. And he'd stand out enough that if it didn't go well at West Ham, say you finished 8th or 9th next season, he would still enough people would say, well, we'll go and get Danny Ings. So it's not like he doesn't devalue himself.
I know what you mean. I think someone like him, and then sort out Jesse, and then
do you think you'll sign Jesse? Do you think that'll be done?
Do you know what? I'll be honest. If it was, I think if it's more than again, we don't know what's going on, do we? We don't know what's going on. I wouldn't pay more than 25 million for him. I really wouldn't. He's 28, but it's like my Mini Cooper. It's only done 25,000 miles, and it's about 12 years old. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't played. If you look at him and Harry Kane, who are the same age, Harry Kane's probably played about 100 games more than Jesse Lingard. So he's got some miles on the clock. Do you know what I mean? But there'd be no sell-on value, and that's very unlike West Ham at the moment. You know, we bought Souček for 16. You could probably get 60 million for him today, easy, no probs. Soufal 5 million. 25 million, I reckon. You know, Bowen, you could double your money on. So, you know, now it's a different way of work. So Jesse would probably break the mold a little bit, but I think he's worth it. But Danny Ings, I'd love Danny Ings, but Jesse, striker, I'd want a left back because Aaron Cresswell, he plays better when we play. And that's what I like about Moyes, though. He Moyesifies. It's my verb for him. He Moyesifies players into different types of players now. I like him, but I like him as a back three centre back. And so I think we need a left back. Then Masuaku's back, but a goalkeeper.
Do you know what was funny about Aaron Cresswell last season? And I haven't got the stats to hand, but I know at one point, and he may still have finished it, but at one point, he was the top assist-making defender in the Premier League.
I think he still was. I think he was by the end of the season. But he definitely was West Ham, and that's for sure. But yeah, no, he was. He was one of the top assisters. And because he's got a whip on him. He's got a left foot whip on him. He has, you know, he played really well. I think he had 8 assists last season.
That's what I mean.
So, you know, and from a left back or left sided, you know, centre back, you know, that's not bad. So, you know, I think there's a few tweaks. I think I'd like to get another goalkeeper in because Fabianski, this will be his last season. He hasn't. Yeah, we give him a 1 year. He's got 1 year contract left, an extension. So I'd love Sam Johnston. I think he's a great goalkeeper and someone you could build your team around for many years.
Yeah.
And it's Mark Noble's last season as well, isn't it? So we'll see.
Will you miss him? Because a lot of West Ham fans love
I
him.
miss, from a club perspective, from a team perspective, he doesn't play very, he's our 20-minute man. But next season, I imagine he'll get more game time playing in Europa League, the cup games. Europa is naturally slower pace, but it would suit him more. But it's Mark Noble, isn't it? It's Mark Noble. It's just like, Mark plays a 7, we put him down for an 8. Do you know what I mean? He's Mark Noble, so he gets a bonus already, a FIFA, like bronze attribute card or whatever. So it will be sad, but if anything, I'd hope it will benefit West Ham more, because him leaving, Declan Rice will go in. He'll be the main man if he stays next season after next. So.
Yeah. Fair enough.
We'll see. It's exciting. I'm excited. We've only got there's a pre-season, and we've only got one more week of the Euros left, and then all the pre-season matches start again soon.
You got any big games in pre-season?
We've got Celtic away, although I don't know how that's been affected now, because Scotland's lockdown procedures they're a few weeks behind, aren't they, than the English ones. I think we've got Dundee United, and we'll probably have a pre-season. We usually have a match the week before, at London Stadium for the Betway Cup, which we get through to the final every year. No one picks up on that fact. Every year we get to the final of the Betway Cup. We're the only team who can invent a cup and have never won it. I think we've won it once. I love it. So I think we'll be playing it. And again, it probably depends about. I imagine it'd be the same as last year, same as you guys, where most of the pre-seasons were against sort of UK opposition because of COVID.
Yeah, ours is a bit weird this season. So we're going to Florida.
But Florida's all open, isn't it? Really? I mean, America's open, really.
It is, and I'm pretty sure we're playing Arsenal.
I love it.
So we're flying to Florida. We're playing against Arsenal. We're playing against decent teams. We're in this Florida Cup. There's 4 teams, and we're playing against Arsenal and some of the others. And then we come back. I think we've got just a standard sort of fixture. I can't remember if that might be Preston or someone like that. Yeah. And then we play Manchester United at Old Trafford. That's our pre-season.
I love it. It's so random, isn't it? I love it. I love who comes up with these pre-season games, because they're so random, and it's almost like Benitez fancies a little trip to Florida. This was done before Benitez pre-start took over.
This was Carlo. This was Ancelotti. This one.
No, he's got a time. It's like always West Ham when your friend of mine, Big Fat Sam, was in charge. We'd always be going to Dubai. Yeah. Always in Dubai.
He loves it. He loves
Dubai. Loves Doobs, doesn't he? Loves a bit of Doobs, this big old Sam. Right. So, what we try and do on this show, this thing we do, is put together a team of players who have played for Everton and West Ham, just to show, doesn't matter what colour shirt we are, we're all the same underneath. And we are. And we've been reasonably successful. I'll be honest, it didn't work well the first time we did this, because we picked Sunderland, was the first person I chatted to, and there was no goalkeeper ever in West Ham's and Sunderland's history who played for each other. So it really fucked up after the first bit. So we had to put Jimmy Walker in as a coach. So we'll have a go. Now, as Mike alluded to, he's 27. I mean, I'm only, I know I don't look it, but I moisturise. I'm 39. Actually, no, tell her I'm 40 in a couple of months' time. But, little tip. Keep moisturising, man. Keep moisturising. It pays dividends. And shave your balls as well too. There you go. Manscaped. There we go. Manscaped. 20% off. Use the promo code WestH20 and check out. Have I got it? Yeah, still got it. There we go. Yeah. Manscaped. There we go. Done. So we'll try and put down this 11 now. So there'll be some time. So basically, what we try and do is we'll try and come up with a team. I think we could do it. I think it's going to be a bit of a weird team, but we'll do it. We'll do it. It's a laugh. It's only a laugh. Now,
I'm all right, to be honest. I think we might be all right. I'm relying on you with the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Okay, right. Okay, so in goal, right? So we could have had George Kitchen, as you know, he played for West Ham from 1898 to 1905. You know that. and he played from Everton, I believe, from 1905 to 12.
Top player.
But we know that top player, Mr. Reliable between the sticks. But one player who he didn't actually make a league appearance for us, but he was on our books and he played for you. We could have had two actually. There's a player, obviously Richard Wright.
Yes.
Richard Wright. I think it makes sense because he played for both clubs. We could have put Chris Woods in because he was a goalkeeper coach at West Ham. That would have been really cheeky, though.
Yeah. Well, he was a goalkeeping coach at Everton as well at one point.
Oh, was he? Yeah. Did the rounds. We'll put Richard Wright in because he was actually. Oh, was he?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously Alan Irvine's left. Well, he hasn't left. He's gone up. Well, he's sort of gone upstairs, I think, at the moment. He's become a technical consultant, which seems like just like Zoom call. Yeah. It seems like a Zoom call. That seems like my type of job. I'll be a technical consultant. I don't have to turn to trading.
Earns 100 grand a year and sits on Zoom. It's fantastic.
That'll do me. I'll be David Moyes' technical consultant. But I mean, obviously last season he was on the touchline, wasn't he? Because obviously Moyes had the COVID, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even realise, to be honest, because I'm up at the top of the stadium, so I'm in the gods. So I look at the pitch and it looked like a guy with white hair who looked a bit like. It was only when the camera panned on him, I was like, "That's not David Moyes." It was like Scooby Doo when he. I would have got away with it for you pesky kids, That's what it was. It was only afterwards I realised. But we'll put Richard Wright in goal because he actually played for both teams. Well, he didn't play for West, but he was in there. He was on the books. That would do. But obviously, Chris Woods, absolute legend of a goalkeeper. Right. Okay. Defender. Who? We'll just do defenders.
Lars Jakobsen.
Yes, Lars Jakobsen. Oh. Big fan of Lars Jakobsen. Let me just whack. I'm gonna whack him in. I'm gonna tell you why I whack him in because I'm gonna put someone different on the left. But Lars Jakobsen. He was a solid player, wasn't he, Lars?
I loved him. I did. He was really weird actually because he just was a hard working player, and Everton played him. I think at one point we played him right back and left back at different times, and he just did a job. He just did a job. He was. I think we had him for 2 years or a season. Yeah, and he was just good. He'd just get up and down.
You need players like that, though. You need those players who are just going to come on and just play a 6 or 7.
Yeah, that's it. He was just steady.
Yeah, he was a good player. He was good. He was same with us. He was. I couldn't pinpoint a game he played for us. I think he made about 20, 30 appearances for us. But yeah. It was a bit like that. We had loads. We had a guy like George McCartney who played for Sunderland as well. He was just solid. I don't remember him making a mistake. He was just solid. He played over 100 games for us, but he was just solid. And you need those in that team. We'll put Lars Jakobsen in. Right, okay, we'll put him in. Right. So next defender, I'm going to go with Slaven Bilic.
Yeah, good choice.
Good choice. Has to be Super Slav.
What formation are we going for, by the way? Is it 4-4-2, 4-3-3? What are you doing?
We'll go. I reckon. Well, we'll put 4-4-2. Part of the reason is because it's the only graphic I've got.
Yeah, that's fair.
More than anything. We'll put Super Slav in. So so far we're doing all right. We're getting there. Right. Okay. So let me just stop that. Okay. So who next defender? Go on. You go for a defender now.
David Unsworth.
David Unsworth. Let's put David Unsworth in.
And I think I might have a wild card for the left back as well when we get to that because I don't know how many times we played left back for you lot, but I know we played. I reckon we're going to be all right. I think we're going to be all right because we can always put Yars left back. Okay.
And then put the right back in because I'm going to go for now. I was going to put David Burrows in.
Yeah.
But
bit before me to remember.
He was a bit before you. He was, and I thought, do you know what? Yeah, and he was. I mean, he was a good player for us. Was a solid player for you guys as well. Now, there's a guy who I believe he made. I reckon he made about 15 appearances for you, but he was our captain. He was an Australian, Mr. Lucas Neal.
Yeah, that's the one.
You see. And I'm going to put Lucas Neal right back and put Jakobsen left back.
Yeah,
he could do a job. So we'll put Lucas Neal in. I love Lucas Neal.
To be honest, he was. I think did we get him from Blackburn? I think I can't remember where.
No, he came from you to. He came from us to you. I think.
Was it West Ham to us? And I remember when we signed him. I think it was a free transfer.
Yes.
I think we got him as sort of defensive cover, and every time he played, he was fairly solid. Like, he just did a job. It was
thing
great.
was, it was obviously part of the Australian connection, weren't it? Really,
Loved
the
it.
Timmy Cahill Australian connection, and it just worked, So, but yeah, solid, honestly. And it was his captainship which kept us up. The famous Great Escape.
I love this graphic. Love this.
Oh, look, it's a finely tuned. It's not your Irons United shit. This is finely.
We're gonna have to have a discussion about this. I'm telling you.
Oh, we can talk. I'm the consultant for all the for everyone at the moment. Right. Okay. So we got right. We got okay. We're doing all right. Okay. Let's go into midfield then. So your first midfielder then, Mike.
We go. If you want to go from wing to wing, Don Hutchinson has to go on one of them. It's up to you which one.
Okay, we'll put Deadly Don. Okay, we'll whack him in the middle for time being, because I think we're gonna be. I think we're gonna do all right. Hutchinson. Now, Deadly Dom, what a player! I love him. And he was a boomerang player for us, obviously, because he left and came back.
Yeah.
I love a player who leaves and comes back. By all accounts, we offered him more money than staying at Sheffield United or whatever, but it doesn't matter, man. I love Don Hutchinson. I thought he was a great player for us.
He did a good job for Everton as well, didn't he? He played in an Everton side that wasn't great. Let's be fair. Mid-90s, early 2000s, that sort of Everton weren't a great side, and he did all right. He did all right for Everton.
He still talks really highly. Obviously, I follow him on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, and he still doesn't respond to my DMs. But anyway, but he always speaks really highly about Everton through his interaction on Twitter.
And I think Everton fans would speak highly of him. I think the one thing I think was a criticism, and again, I'm going back to me being 8-9 years old, so it's not easy for me, but I think sometimes, not necessarily his distribution of his final ball, but he could beat someone. But it was almost like if he could pull the trigger, he wouldn't. And I like a player who had his ability to either cut in, whip a ball in, or take a shot. And I just think for Everton, he just didn't get as many goals and assists as what he could have done if he just acted that little bit quicker. And that's probably what stopped him being a higher rated player, because he was a good player. He was a steady player.
Yeah.
But he could have been a in
the upper echelons. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean totally. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But great servant for both. Yeah. Right. Okay. So I'm going to go a bit not off piste, but I'm going to go a little bit into the archives. Partly because, I might go into the archives a couple of times because I don't want to put Enna Valencia, and I'll be honest. So I'm going back sort of early mid-90s to a player called Danny Williamson.
Yeah.
Now, Danny Williamson, I love Danny Williamson. He could have been. He could have been king, bless him. Injury. He was obviously fantastic for us. Went to you guys, ended up getting injured. It was pretty much the end of his career, really, unfortunately. Yeah. But he was a fantastic player, and I put him in because I'm desperately trying to get him on the show. Same as Hutch. Same as yours, actually. Yours. Yours is going to come on soon. Right, okay. So, everyone's such a whore when it comes to West Ham players. Right, okay. So who's going to... Right, so you get your pick now. Who's your pick going to be?
Well, this one's difficult because in my time, the only other sort of midfielder that sort of springs to mind is Hitzelsberger.
Yeah. Yes. No. Yeah.
He didn't play that often for Everton, to be honest, and I don't think he played that often for you, did he?
He was one of those really frustrating players, because obviously his reputation preceded him, really. From Villa, and he called himself the Hammer. He was always going to have to play for West Ham sometime, weren't he? The name the Hammer. My one Hitzelsberger memory was, I can't remember who he played. it was someone in the Premier League, and he did one of those, one of those hammer shots in the first half. And then at half time, we brought on Martin Allen, Mad Dog. We brought him on to do a little, halftime interview. And I've told Martin this story as well. He doesn't remember because he was pissed. But basically, he enjoyed the hospitality. We'll just say that. That. And so asking him, Thomas's goal first half, what did you think? He went, yeah, it was good, which is surprising because the last time a German turned up to East London, they bombed the place.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely marvelous.
We have not interviewed Martin Allen since on the pitch. So that's it. That's why I give him it. He's in, man. He's in it. Yeah, that's why. Right, we'll put the hammer in. We'll put the hammer. Well, do you know what? I tell you what. If we're on the older money 10p a letter, we're doing all right in that midfield, aren't we?
Oh, it's costing
the old shirts. Williamson, Hutchinson, Hitzelsberger.
£1.50 a letter.
Oh, we'd run out of Zeds pretty sharpish. Right, I'm going to put my choice. I'm going to put another old guy in, also because I saw him the other week. I was talking about this to him, so there's another one I'm going to have to put in as well because I was talking to him about it. I'm going to put in Mark Ward.
Okay.
Mark Ward, fantastic servant for West Ham, and it was obviously played for Everton as well. Now Wardy was a terrier of a player, part of our Boys of '86 team that we still talk about. Finishing third. That's where we are. That's why when we have a bit of success, we enjoy it so much. We still revere these guys who finished third in 1986. So he played a fair whack of games for you guys.
Everton could have been champions of Europe that season.
Yeah, they could have been.
No, it could have been.
Yeah. What could have been? We could have won the league. We should have won the league that year. You had a really rubbish beginning to the season. I was only 5 at the time, but I've heard the stories all over again, so I know that is the case. Had many a player night. Right, okay, so we're doing well. We're doing right, and actually, I think that's good. I think that gives us a nice balance across the midfield. Right, okay, up front.
We're not sticking Valencia in, so I'm cool with that. The only other one that I remember in recent years is Nikica Jelavic, who for Everton in his first 11 games scored 9 goals. Who we've won.
Mental.
His one-touch finishing was absolutely out of this world. He almost won us an FA Cup. We ended up losing to Liverpool in the semi-final after being 1-0 up. But honestly, if we'd have just carried that on, we would. I'm convinced that year we would have won the FA Cup.
Oh, I loved it. I was so gutted for it. He just didn't hit the heights that, when we signed him, we signed him for a raft of players. It was a really exciting time. And I just thought he would have been, ironically, he'd have probably done quite well for us now, really. Sort of target man who had a bit about him. But it was such a good player at Hull and obviously at you guys, and just didn't.
It's quite funny, really. What? Because even on his last game for Everton, we knew he was leaving, so we played QPR in the FA Cup, and I was at the game, and he scored 2 goals, and he missed a penalty for his hat trick on his last game at Goodison. And he was never a nasty player. You wanted him. I wanted him to get his hat trick. And it almost made me think, God, why the hell are we selling this guy? But QPR were in the Championship at the time. Everton were a very decent top 5, top 6 Premier League side at the time.
Made sense.
I was just a bit gutted for him that he didn't quite get that hat trick.
Yeah, I know. It would have been a lovely send off, wouldn't it? But he's got me, as I said, just never really. I didn't score that many for us. Just didn't really click. But I was so excited because I was a player. There's certain players. I mean, as well. When you play against them, you're thinking, I swear he always used to score against us. It's like with Yakubu used to always score against us and stuff like that. And
West Ham.
He loved scoring against West Ham, didn't he?
So did
like
Lukaku.
Rashford. What's that?
So did Lukaku for Everton.
Lukaku. Yeah. Lukaku was even worse, wasn't he? Lukaku, any team, when he went Man United, he'd scored against Chelsea. He'd always score against us.
We loved it. It was really weird with Lukaku up front because, from an Everton perspective, we had a very good Leighton Baines at the time. I remember him scoring 2 free kicks in one game against you lot. I remember, I think it was Ross Barkley might have scored a last-minute free kick against. It might have been you lot. It might not. It might
possibly.
and Lukaku would always score. And I used to go into games against West Ham, and I used to think, I know they're a good side. I'm not going to sit here and say West Ham's a bad side because they're not. And I'm really confident we're going to win this game.
Yeah,
because we had people who just would score against West Ham.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Tim Cahill was the same. Tim Cahill would always score against us. It's like that Millwall thing, It's like it was, and it's like I think it was like Chris Woods. Chris Woods always scores against us, and it's like the best bit of news last year was bloody Glenn Murray retiring, because Glenn Murray literally, what team he played for, would score against us always, and him retiring was the best thing we ever did. But yeah, who's the other one? Oh, I can't remember. Loads of people score against Rashford. Always scores against us. Right, okay, so put Yelovich in, and I'm going to have to put Tony Cotter in. Going to have to put TC in, because I saw him the other day. And I was telling you and Waldy about this. I said, you better fucking put us in, otherwise it'll be trouble. And I'm seeing him in 2 weeks' time. So TC, because the man scored goals. Scored goals for fun, proper striker, proper old school striker, and you don't get many of them anymore now. Do you know what I mean? It's like that sort of Jermaine Defoe, Tony Cottee, sort of just fox in the box, innit? It's all about clever forwards now, isn't it?
I was asked about this the other day. Somebody said to me, "Who do you think the sort of last fox in the box is?" And I looked at the Premier League now, and I think the Premier League's just different, the way people play. I think they're very different with the way they play. And I actually come out and said, I might have to go back as far as someone like a Van Nistelrooy or a Michael Owen or because they just don't happen anymore. They just don't happen anymore.
No. It's like, that's the thing. Defoe still bangs him in for Rangers, doesn't he? This at the moment. So, but I think you got like Chicharito. There was like a whole not spate of them, but there was a whole sort of level of them, and now you don't get them anymore. Danny Ings. They used to be Danny Ings, but he's more of a forward rather than a strike. It's like even like Vardy, I suppose. Yeah, he sort of does still wants to join in with the play. Of course, he never got out the 16-yard box. You know what I mean? But he didn't need to be. No. Ball was coming in, he'd score. But yeah, we managed it. I don't know how the fuck we did it, but we managed it. Look at that.
It's not a bad side.
That ain't bad. I'd take that. It's solid. And we could have David Burrows. We could have had. Don't forget about George Kitchen in goals, our sub goal. Ian Bishop, but he didn't really play many games for. I should have put Bishop. We'd have got a retweet. No, it's all right.
Just change it. Change it and. Change it.
Yeah, I might change it. He might not. He won't watch it. No. I'll put him on the bench. I put Bish on the bench. That's fair enough. Right, man. It's been a pleasure. 48 minutes has flown by without even trying.
Mate, it always does when it's just me and you, mate. Last time we was on video together, we were ranting about the Super League.
Oh, the Green Six. I'm trying to get Dave on, actually. Funny enough, Dave and all the others. But yeah, no, it's it's the old Super Six. That went a bit weird, didn't it? What the fuck happened with all that anyway?
Horrendous. I'm so glad that football burst.
Yeah, it's one of these, particularly from an Everton fan, because obviously with Liverpool, you must have gone probably took the moral high ground slightly there. So. You and your Henrys and no.
It was difficult for me because I'm not saying Everton are bigger than Arsenal, because we're not.
Yeah.
But I certainly think we're bigger than Spurs. And when Spurs got included in this top 6 thing, I thought, you're having a laugh. I appreciate you finished higher than us on average over the last 10 years, but we've been established for 120 years. You've won. I think they've won 2 titles. Everton have won 9. We've won more FA Cups. We've won a European. I just sat there and just thought, I can't believe.
I couldn't. That was the one. I think that was the one. And Tottenham, and that was one. Tottenham, even Arsenal. You're right. You're fair. Arsenal have this sort of prestige. Old. There's sort of a legacy. But Spurs, yeah,
it should have. It should have been Leicester rather than Spurs.
Should have been, yeah. Should have been. But I don't. Then Leicester's owners would never have even thought about it, would they?
No, because they actually give a toss about the community and fans, and
they're the only ones who are fucking spending any money at the moment. Well, they're in Villa.
Yeah, well, it can. I mean, I think Grealish is going. So,
I said, he's gone, and he's going to go to City, isn't he?
And that's why they're spending money. That's why Burundi has come into the club. But
yeah,
it does make me laugh that they're being linked with, like, Smith Rowe. They've got Burundi out. I think who else have they been linked with? They've been linked with some decent players, Villa.
Yeah.
And then I look at Leicester, and they've done exactly what they usually do. They've gone and signed Samir, good, young, quick, aggressive player. Just won a trophy. Yeah. They've already got a midfield that is Tillemans, Maddison, Ndidi. And I look at that team and I think, Brendan Rodgers, you might be an ex-cop-out, mate, but you deserve a lot of credit for that.
Oh, he does. He's got. I mean, you look at their team; it's great. And he's obviously they bought Bakayura in, didn't they? They bought Daka. I liked Daka. I went to West Ham. He's rapid, and so he'll. Yeah,
they do, because I think Iheanacho hit a purple patch. I don't think he's Vardy, and I think Vardy's just a yard too slow now.
Yeah, it's the trouble when you rely on pace, isn't it? Same with Mickey Owen. When Mickey Owen's hamstrings went, same as Antonio, really. I mean, Antonio, literally, his hamstrings are like jelly. So, he's not going to reinvent himself into a cultured left back. That's his role. So, yeah, he's done the right backs. Yeah,
I remember him playing left back for Nottingham Forest. I can't believe it.
Crazy, isn't it? Well, he played right back and right wing back at West Ham, so there's no difference. But it's like he talks about Antonio when you still talk about Antonio and goes, "Oh, that 30 minutes against Wolves." That's what his season has been defined for, 30 minutes against Wolves, where he was like prime Ronaldo, and then he went off injured. But yeah, but he's only one goal off our top all-time Premier League goal scorers now.
Well, he'll do that, won't he?
He'll do that. So he's joined with it's him and Mark Noble on 48 and Di Canio's on 49. Now, if they don't overtake them, we've had an absolute shitter of a season. They'll just say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mike, thank you very much, my friends, and obviously, guys, go over and check out the Blue Boyz Network. We'll put the post in the thing, but make sure you check them out. Loads of lovely stuff about Everton. It's good to know what other people are thinking. I like listening to other channels, other clubs. It's just interesting. But anyway, for myself and for Mark, take care, everyone. Mark. I was talking about Mark, right? No, for Mike, take care, everyone. Stay safe, wash those hands, get those jabs, come in your irons, up the toffees, and come in your irons. Come on, take.